right, guys, we're back and we're going to continue on to see what Calvin has as his top 10 list. I guess first, though, he needs to find out how many honorable mentions he gets.
Honorable mentions! Oh,
I got one!
Well, I wrote down 3, so I'm glad I didn't.
Did you have an extra one?
Yeah, I had several extra.
You trying to squeeze in 10?
Probably my favorite honorable mention is going to be Fuzion Frenzy. It was released on the original Xbox. It was a multiplayer arena game, but the game types changed around randomly throughout a match. It was basically like a 2 to 4 player multiplayer game, but you had different styles of competitions that you would add up points in, and then whoever had the most points after all of the rounds won the game.
Was this a 2D or 3D game?
It was a 3D game. It was kind of a top-down style.
Okay.
There were some game types that were split screen, but it just depended on the arena that you were playing in, the game type. A lot of it was trying to collect points. There was a thing where a pipe would shoot out bugs. You'd have to splat those bugs with a hammer. You'd have to like injure the other players to get them to drop points, and you pick those points up.
Like a minigame collection.
Yeah, it was a minigame collection, basically. Yeah. It was really fun, really fast-paced. It was really well-balanced, I think, for younger adults and adults as well, because it was more based on strategy sometimes than actual skill.
Like dexterity?
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun to play that with like my parents and stuff. It was one of the first few like multiplayer games that we ever really played.
So far, this is starting off how I was wondering.
Calvin,
I have no idea of this game either.
Calvin pulled out the obscure references.
Yeah.
It's a good game. You should try it.
Right.
It may be a little bit dated, but it played well back then.
All right.
On to my number 10, which is probably not the game that you guys would think. It's Transport Tycoon, but it is the original Transport Tycoon.
You played Zoo Tycoon.
There was another Transport Tycoon? I played Roller Coaster Tycoon, played Zoo Tycoon.
Zoo Tycoon. I
played Prison Tycoon. Heck, I got a key code now from Keymailer for like the porn industry tycoon.
Porn tycoon.
I don't know about that.
You can't play that on stream.
I think you can. It blurs stuff out.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You're trying to make money. You got to get your actors, I guess, working and stuff, running for the day. Yeah, like. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. I didn't even ask for it. That was one of the ones they sent me.
It's probably just...
I've had like 5. They're like, here, try this, please.
Them trying to just push it because they got so many keys that they overpaid for and they're just getting rid of them.
That was a Maxis game, right?
Yes, it was.
The Sims.
Yep.
Sims.
It was a lot of fun. They basically just dropped you in the middle of this world. When you designed the game, it was all procedurally generated and everything like that. They dropped you in the game with one transport route, basically, of like you could have a bus line or you could have a train or something like that, and it just transports stuff back and forth, and you would set up bus lines from town to town or trains, and then eventually once you got enough money you could build airports, and then further along you got in years, the more money and stuff, you could buy better technology, better buses, better trains, better planes, everything like that. And you just build your empire until there were no more transportable goods from one place to another that weren't being transported.
Right.
So basically you get to a certain point where you've maximized your income and there's nowhere else to build.
So it's like this giant puzzle that you're trying to do as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You try to make the shortest route with the best payoff.
Sure.
It's a bit like Space Trader, if you've ever played Space Trader. It's a
I'm not done that.
Couldn't you make a decent bit of money if you just had one truck that just went from point A to point B carrying the good?
Yeah.
And you just become profitable. You just let it go.
Well, that's what you do, and then eventually, you go to the next town and you build another truck, and it goes to another depot, and here back and forth.
I mean, it's the same thing like SimCity. Like you could just have, one house and a school and everything else, but
you stay profitable. Like, I want a bigger city.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But eventually, you just get to the point where you're making billions of dollars a second.
It's like the Roller Coaster Tycoon when you make your park and it's free to enter, but it's like $1 per ride. But you're like, I want more than that. And then you make a big theme park and it's like $20 to enter, and you ride all the rides you want. And then you give them free popcorn and make them pay for a lot of soda and they 25 cents for the bathroom.
Yeah.
So good. Do that.
So that was a lot of fun. I don't know how many hundreds of hours I put into that, but it was one of the first games. Actually, probably the first game that I ever had more fun restarting than getting to the point where I didn't have to worry about money. I always loved getting that
Sure.
first bus route or that first truck route or something.
It's the same for me in Civ 5. Is like my favorite part is exploring the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just say I never played Transport Tycoon, but Roller Coaster Tycoon was close to making it in my top 10.
Yeah.
Just because of like I spent a lot of time doing that and like figuring out how am I gonna make my most money and what am I gonna name my rides.
Yeah.
Like, I remember having a Rattlesnake Games Park, a Rattlesnake Park, and I had each ride
Black
named
and green,
after
baby.
like different. Yeah, each
Yeah.
ride was named after like different like members and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
One thing that I really liked about Transport Tycoon is you could start it with CPU competitors, and you'd have to beat them out
You
of
have to
their.
outbid them.
Basically, yeah, you'd have to
That's
lowball them so badly to where their routes were no longer profitable, and they'd have to move somewhere else. You'd have to spend money to do that, so you were money ahead to try to lowball them on doing that and doing dirty tricks like building train track onto theirs and then buying the cheapest engine you could and sending it on their route. So that eventually their train full of goods and people and everything would collide with that cheap engine and kill everyone, and it would make their stocks go down.
Shit, Calvin.
It was a cutthroat game, I tell you.
I hope people
And
die.
like the towns, you could also have
fainted.
towns in there that they would build their own bus routes from town to town. And spending like several $100,000 to bulldoze the road. That way those towns couldn't do it. And then building my own road to use bus routes and going further to charge more. Just stuff like that made the game really cutthroat and fun when I was 5 years old. It was awesome. On to my number 9. I played this as much as I could while we had a PC that would actually run it, is Doom. The first
Can't complain there.
Yeah, the first person shooter that I ever played. And it was so much fun. I had to play it on minimum graphics settings with no sound. We didn't have Sound Blaster 16. I played it with no sound. It was miserable playing with no sound, but it was the most fun game that we owned at the
That game
time.
scared the
Oh,
hell out of me back
man.
then.
I feel like
It
you would
was
walk-
very
It's a hell of a
scary.
game.
I feel like if you walk into a room with no sound, you don't look around
Scary.
immediately.
Yeah.
Things just start happening. You're like, shit.
Yeah.
It was
Just start flashing red and your
terrifying.
guys have
Much
bloody nose.
scarier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrifying without sound.
I haven't
But
played the new Doom. I heard that was real good. I got
Yeah.
good reviews.
Oh, amazing.
like
I have it. I want to stream
extreme
it, but I haven't
multiplayer.
yet.
Yeah.
So good.
It looks
And
good.
And the first one, yeah, is just incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I played a lot of the first. And I played Doom 3. I didn't play any of 2. And I didn't play the newest
2
one.
is like, okay, you mastered Doom, fuck you.
It's a complete like rework of.
I feel like back in Bartlett, Doom was on one of the computers, wasn't
It
it?
was on all the computers in the 3rd grade lab.
And there was also some kind of
Yeah, because
hill.
I put it on there.
There was some kind of. There was some
Teachers
kind
didn't know how to use the computers.
Right? There was
I
some-
taught them how to use the computers.
It's true.
That is true.
I remember we would switch the mouse from like different computers. So like people would go and sit down in the computer lab,
yeah.
and they'd go to move it, and it wouldn't move, but it was moving that computer. we
That's
did
some
we did
dirty-ass
all of
trick.
them. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun. But no, there was also a helicopter game. Remember that?
Yeah.
There's an Army Man game where you
Yeah.
actually
There was some kind of
you're doing
helicopter game, and you
No,
were like
it-
flying, shooting, and stuff. and
Yeah. I
it was-
can't
don't know.
remember.
Doom. I think of Doom, and I think of that.
Yeah.
Whenever I think of those games together.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doom is a hell of a game.
My number 8 is going to be Assassin's Creed 2. It's where you're first introduced to Ezio Auditore.
The Frenzy.
Da Firenze. It really expanded on the world that they set up in Assassin's Creed 1.
Yeah.
So many more fighting techniques and stuff like that. The climbing was insane. I loved the missions and stuff like that. And the feeling of actually being able to blend into a crowd is what really immersed me in the world.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm at
the guards' reactions to you fighting and stuff like that. You know, if you beat so many so quickly, then the others would run off and, you know, chase after him to get my notoriety
And you
down.
throw money down.
Yeah,
like,
and people
I
like
agree.
crowd in and stuff like that.
I played the first Assassin's Creed, and I could not get into it.
Maggie played a lot of them.
Really?
Yeah.
The
Well,
first
like,
one I
watched
beat,
her play
and I loved it, but after playing 2, I realized how bad 1 is.
Yeah.
The game design of
Like
1
the-
is just like you go to an area, you eavesdrop, you assassinate,
It's a
you
good
move
idea.
on.
It is. It's a very good idea.
It was an unbelievable tech demo.
That they really did wonderful things to in the
I
second
hated
one.
moving through town, and I had to go like. It felt like I had to go like this.
Yeah.
'Cause if I went any faster, guards would catch me.
Yeah.
Two's not exactly like that.
No, 2 wasn't. 2, I felt like I could move through town okay.
Are you talking about the first
Did you
one?
play?
Yeah,
Did you play any other ones besides
in
one?
the first one, like I couldn't just ride a horse. I had to walk
Trot.
a horse
Yeah.
very slowly. But then it took me so long to go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And I was like, and if I move fast and the guards started chasing me, I'm like, fuck.
Well, it's one of those things where you can speed up the gameplay, but you might get slowed down by guards.
I guess.
But when you get stopped by guards or whatever, then the excitement builds up, so it's not so bad that you're going so slow. So that is one kind of trade-off that I enjoyed about that
It was bad.
game.
I want to go faster.
No, I get you.
I could never get into the Assassin's Creed stuff. I just didn't like the combat. I wish there was one that had like the Shadows of Mordor or Batman or Arkham Asylum.
I have to say, if
See,
you like
the
if
one
you like
thing-
Arkham Asylum, I don't know how you didn't like Assassin's Creed 2 in that, because I thought they
it
were
was just
pretty
too easy.
No, you are right. It was easy. Once you learned, there's only a specific number of animations that the enemies have,
Yeah.
and you just remember what button to hit. You
parry.
counter and parry every time, and you just win.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but like
So-
for me, what I loved was like the counters were they reward you with these incredible executions.
Oh, yeah.
which is one thing I loved about it.
Sure.
The execution style killings and stuff like that, where
Yeah.
you use their
But
own.
for me, it
weapon
wasn't the
against them.
combat. It was just because Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite last generation games.
Yeah.
And I can't wait till the new one comes out, which is rumored to be set in Egypt.
Really?
Yeah, but I have to say, I love them, and Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And just, for me, it was exploring the world. Like, they rebuilt, they actually went to Rome.
Yeah, Rome, Venice.
And they went to Venice, and they looked at all this stuff from ancient cultures. Like, the Bible talks about these pools that people get into, like the old guy couldn't get into the pool because he's crippled or whatever. Well, they went around and they made these pools in Assassin's Creed 1. Mm-hmm. So they just rebuilt the world in a great way. It felt so historical.
Yeah.
And just, I absolutely loved it.
And
Yeah, you
2 was interesting. It had that whole buy buildings mechanics and
Yes.
then rebuild the city.
Oh, yeah.
Which was really fun.
And,
You
and
could get money and spend your money
Yeah.
on stuff and
yeah.
buy. I don't think in the first one you could like buy people to distract stuff and everything. Could
Not
you?
in the
Not in
That
the
was
first
Brotherhood.
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, in 2, because I remember like I could throw money out, or I could buy like these 4 guys.
Yeah,
that would just
eventually
fight
you could get mercenaries,
Or get these
or you could
women
get
to, like, go do stuff.
courtesans.
Yeah.
Lessons, yeah.
In which, I haven't beat Black Flag, actually. But I heard it's real good.
I haven't either.
I started.
I heard it's real good. It's like a little different. I haven't beat 3, actually.
I started 3.
I haven't finished 3.
was
I
pretty
played
cool.
I played through 3 to the point where you get the ship, and I did all those missions, and then I just kind of stagnated. I had to do work and stuff like that, go back to school, so I never finished 3.
Yeah.
But I heard Black Flag was really good. It took all the best parts of 3 as far as like the ship sailing and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and just made it a game.
Yeah.
Because I heard a lot of people really liked the ship and the seafaring.
And I heard
part of it.
Unity had problems, from what I understand, but I heard Syndicate was real good.
I heard Unity had online problems, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because of the
Well,
multiplayer
facial
aspect?
animations and shit, and
Yeah.
they're all fucked up. And I didn't even hear much, because once a game gets bad press, like, just loses steam. But I heard Syndicate was great.
Haven't played Syndicate at all.
But had low sales, so they're kind of taking a break from the franchise so they can build up a great game. You know what I mean? Because it had Assassin's Creed fatigue. I think
Well,
Yeah.
the thing they did is they were having like an
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed game come out like every year.
yeah, there's a lot of
year,
fatigue
so,
and
yeah.
quality suffered, but I think
Yeah.
I have
The
high hopes
thing
for
that, like,
truly next generation Assassin's
The
Creed.
thing that like Call of Duty did is that they had theirs kind of alternate with different storylines and stuff like that.
We're different developers.
Yeah,
too.
it had different developers, but
Yeah,
also
that
had
helped
like
a
you
lot.
had like the Modern Warfare series, and then you had like the Black Ops series. So like there were different storylines and stuff that tied in, but it also gave them 2 years to work on a game rather than 1 year.
Now there's
Yeah.
a 3-year cycle.
I still feel like it still kind of was stagnating in my opinion, because like how much more can you keep developing and changing?
Right.
But
But for people who played maybe the Modern Warfare series
see,
and not the Black Ops series,
Modern Warfare.
Yeah, they're
better
getting one every
than,
couple
Black
years.
Ops.
Yeah.
So
And that's and I got to say, like, every time Assassin's Creed game came out, I always bought it. I always loved it. It was relatively unchanged.
yeah. My number 7 is another old PC game. It's going to be Heretic: Shadows of the Sparrow.
I don't know what that is.
Speaking of early first-person shooters,
Yeah, it's the first-person shooter that I've probably played the most on.
it's the fantasy
95.
Doom.
Yeah, it's basically fantasy Doom.
Okay.
You go through these various levels. There's magic that you can use. There's items that you can collect and then use later. You have to manage your inventory, quantities and stuff like that.
Is this Heretic or Hexen?
Heretic.
Okay.
Hexen is the same thing, but prettier and
Yeah.
better puzzles. Way better puzzles. I actually forgot about Hexen because I should have put that one on there. But I would play Heretic before I played Hexen. Though.
Okay.
Heretic, you go through and you don't actually get better abilities. You just learn to play the game better. You get better weapons, but also versus more powerful enemies. So you have to play smarter, unlock puzzles and stuff like that to get to the next level. And slowly you're uncovering the story of how your character is fighting against this evil demigorgon kind of being that has released all this evil on the world. And you're slowly just beating his forces back to finally where you get to him. And it's a really fun game. It's probably one of the things that got me interested in D&D originally, just because it's so fantastic and just, I don't know, just the thought of this other world where just terrible shit is happening.
Yeah.
You're the only person that knows about it and can save it.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you're just doing the best you can with what you got. I really enjoyed that game. Aaron's not going to be surprised about this one. Number 6 is going to be DayZ for me.
I figured.
Over 1,800 hours on DayZ.
His family made like bandit AI characters to run around on their own server.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have the internet to play on the real internet.
Yeah.
It's one of the side effects of not having internet or anything like that. Yeah, we played a lot of DayZ.
It was a fun game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed like having teams and stuff like that. It was a fun survival game. It was a fun game.
I literally played it enough to where
It was fun. I'm not
don't
saying,
die, Rick.
I didn't put it, I'm not going to have it on my top 10 list, but I did enjoy the game and it was fun to play with like friends and stuff.
I just don't like survival games. So.
No, I get you.
Play The Last of Us?
I mean,
It's not a survival game.
You played Resident Evil 4?
That is a Last of
It's a
Us.
survival game. It's survival horror. I don't like survival games.
this
There's zombies in it.
Like Dust and...
this wasn't
Nah,
exactly a survival strictly
Just
horror game.
what it should be.
It was
Yes.
it was more a open world shooter, I would say. It's interesting because you are collecting resources and stuff like that, so you don't die. But it got to
Yeah.
the point where we knew exactly where to go to get those resources, that we could make sure that we wouldn't die to the environment in the first 2 minutes of the game. So it lost its survival aspect and became more of a shooter strategy kind of, I don't know, like a house builder. You know, you go out and you harvest materials from the woods and stuff like that, and then you go and you hunt down a group of bandits and you get a better gun. You take it back to the market and you sell it, and then you buy like,
In a market?
well, with the mods and stuff like that. Yeah,
I didn't know that. In mine, like we had a team. We made a camp where we went and stored all
Yeah.
our stuff. And our team usually consists of like a 5-man crew where we had me with a sniper, and then we had 2 guys with like close range like submachine guns with silencers on them, so that we were quiet moving through town.
Yeah.
And then 2 other guys with more like mid to long range weapons, so that they could take out like actual threats from a distance. And then I would be like Overwatch, watching over. And I'd let them go into town. I'd watch, look for zombies or bad guys, and then we'd get what we needed, get out, go back to camp, and we try to find a helicopter. And I was the only one who actually took the training course to fly. And someone else decided to fly. And
See,
it didn't go well.
For me, I can't find myself getting into games that don't have an end goal. For
Well,
whatever reason, I just can't
Well, I'm
get
such
into
a
them.
completionist. I'm similar.
The only exception is Dwarf Fortress, and that is just how long you can last. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's gonna all go shits up eventually.
So what's your thought on like something like PlayerUnknown's Battleground,
Yeah.
where it's more of like there is an end game,
Yeah.
but it's just surviving till that point and trying to live.
Well, I'm also not big for online multiplayer.
it didn't
Yeah.
used to be my thing. Definitely.
I'm more into couch multiplayer personally.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, if I could play Super Smash Bros. Online with no lag, I'd do it.
Well, that's
Well,
basically
sure,
what this game was.
But we
for
don't play
us.
that for fun either.
Yeah. But that's basically what this game was for us, since we
Yeah.
didn't have any other
Sure.
consoles or online access.
Yeah, you
or
guys are
anything
all in the
like
same
that.
house working together doing it. So
Yeah.
it is kind of like couch
Oh
multiplayer
no,
at that
definitely.
point.
Yeah.
It's the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got to the point where all of us, if we spawned randomly on the map, we could tell where we were on the map in about 10 seconds just based on the landscape
Yeah.
and like tree patterns and stuff like that. It's actually, to scale, it's like a 20 kilometer by 20 kilometer map. And I mean, it's immense trying to run across it. It takes you
Sure.
like
Oh, yeah.
hours to run
It's a
from
big
corner
map.
to
I mean, you
corner.
got vehicles, but they attract the zombies.
They attract zombies,
Or
they
just
attract
anyone that-
bandits,
Yeah, bandits,
or
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
and they break down very easily. Like if you hit a rock, you burst a tire, and then your car won't go, and you have to walk to the next town and find a tire, come back and put it on, and then you can go find gasoline, stuff like that. So it's very time consuming. It's a very basic game. Like it's not hard to master or anything like that, but it's very immersive in the fact that you can just play it and just enjoy yourself while doing it. Like,
Yeah.
goals that would normally take 5 or 10 minutes in another game might take you an hour in this one, but that just increases the reward of actually completing those goals.
Yeah.
Sure.
The thing I liked was playing online just with random people. And I came across a guy, like we were both in a building together because I saw a flare thrown. And I'm like, okay. And I just talking voice chat like, hello, how are you? And we just started talking.
Hello there.
And I'm like, okay, I'm coming upstairs. You don't shoot me, I don't shoot you. Maybe we can work together and get out of here because there's zombies around.
Yeah.
And I went upstairs and we were working together and stuff like that. And then something happened. He got hit and he broke a leg. He's like, oh man, do you have any morphine? And I had 2. I said, no. Like, no, I do not.
That sounds
He's
pretty
like-
fun.
And
I never played it, but I remember all the press about it, and it looked fun.
So that was
It's never had it.
Sometimes you find people, they just shoot you on sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find people and you talk and you want to work together.
And I'll fuck you over like you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people that actually get invested in the game and kind of role play with it, that's what's really fun to me. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but Frankie on PC, he's a YouTuber that does gaming videos and stuff like that. And that's what really got my family and me into DayZ. Just watching him build a story out of nothing.
Sure.
So you really get this more immersive kind of feel in the game rather than just go over there to that building, get these meds, walk up there, get a gun, kill people. It's a very basic game if you let it be basic, but if you let yourself get invested in it, I think it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
So do you do that instead of role playing just because it's easier? Like it takes less setup?
You mean role playing? You mean like
tabletop?
Like
Yeah.
tabletop RPG? No, we played tabletop as well. I mean, obviously we played a lot more with you, but
Sure.
it was
I don't know.
it was more relaxing to just sit down, start a PC up, and do something like that.
I guess it's easier to visualize that kind of stuff too whenever you have it like there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And then
I
you
don't know.
make your story.
But I definitely,
I think they're both different beasts, honestly.
I mean, they're somewhat related.
It just sounds like what he liked from it is the same thing that you get from that.
Yeah.
And I knew your family was all into that kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
stuff. So I was just wondering why one over the other. But I mean, and that no one has to be in charge, right?
Right, yeah.
No one has to do all the preparation.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
The
that kind
game
of
is
stuff.
running it for you so everyone can be a player.
Sure.
Yeah. And for that, it would most likely be Dad, which he's got fibromyalgia and hypertension, and he doesn't sleep well, so he's always very tired when he gets home from work. So for him, setting up and running a game and everything like that, it was a lot more stress than what he would like to just have a relaxing evening. So yeah, DayZ was just a solution to that.
Cool.
Number 5, Portal. Played on
the original.
Xbox. The original.
Really?
I love Portal 2.
Uh-huh.
But just the basic puzzles and stuff like that from the original, I really enjoyed just the simplicity. I really do enjoy
That is surprising.
like the gels and stuff like that too. But just for a simple playing experience, I relax a lot more and have a lot more fun playing the original than I do.
So I would
the
say
second
Portal
one.
2 is the best sequel of all time
I agree.
for video games.
It is a
It's really good.
perfect sequel to the original game, but I do love the original game. As far as just a game that
It's
I would
much
love
less
to
of an
play,
investment.
that is true.
It's much quicker.
Like if
Portal 2
you
or
get
Portal
one.
1? Okay,
Portal
Portal 2 I
1,
thought was
yeah.
longer.
No. Yeah, it's much longer.
it's
Yeah.
much longer, yeah. But as far as just a game that I can sit down
Sure.
and start
I can see
any
that.
point in the campaign,
Yeah.
I can just play it, have fun. It's
Back-
complex enough that between playthroughs, I
Played that
Kinda
for the
forget
first
the
time.
puzzle.
Back, I
sometimes.
think, in like 2008, maybe 2007. I can't remember what it was. It was in the winter. There was a really, really bad snowstorm.
Yeah.
I was at Washington State Community College, and Rick was there too. We all went
Yeah.
there. And when we were leaving, I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go home." Well,
And we both
I-
lived 45 minutes away.
yeah, I tried to stop at like a stoplight and just kept going. Like it was just so bad. And Rick was like, "Hey, I'm going to my Aunt Rhonda's, and if you want to, you and Melanie can come and stay there too." Because I had to take like Melanie.
I didn't even
home.
know Aunt Rhonda.
Yeah, I had to take
Must
Melanie
have been bad.
home, I think it was, and then back to head back to my place, whatever it was. So we just went to Rhonda's, and basically was snowed in there waiting. And Rick's like, "All right, now that you're here,
Yeah.
you gotta play this game."
You gotta play this game.
And
Nobody gotcha.
He had a 360 controller on his PC, I think it was, and gave me Portal.
Yeah.
So I started playing Portal, and he's watching, and Melanie's on the other side watching. I'm playing through, and I beat it that
Beat the whole
night.
thing, yeah.
The whole thing, and it was a fun game. I loved in that game. I love like you're going through like solving this puzzle. At the same time, there's this conversation, not really conversation, but just dialogue occurring
Yeah.
from like GLaDOS,
And it's so
or
funny.
from turrets.
Yeah.
You know? Just different things you hear, and it was it was just done so well, and the puzzles were done so well. Like it definitely was like one of my favorite puzzle games I've ever played.
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say I never beat it.
Really?
Never
Did you
got
do
the-
two?
Never played it. Never got the orange box. So actually, I might have the orange box on Steam. I don't know, but
2 is really good, and the fun thing they did with that too is they also made a co-op
Yeah.
campaign you could play through where you played as these 2 robots playing through. So I've never beaten the co-op of it.
We should
I
play that on
haven't either.
stream sometime.
So,
I have it on PC.
yeah, I might. But yeah,
It's a cheap
a
game
very
either way.
very fun game.
My number 4, which is also on Rick's list, Towerfall Ascension.
Yeah, Towerfall Ascension, baby.
It's
Very
it's
fun game.
been gone over, I'm sure, plenty already. But yeah,
Heck of a game.
it's just a fun family party, any kind of game. It's competitive enough that it can interest even just casual players, but also it's technical enough.
It's
that,
super competitive, but
Yeah.
it only has 3 buttons,
yes,
right? So it's not like a Street Fighter or something like that, where theoretically anyone can handle a joystick and 3 buttons,
yeah.
right? But there's just so much depth to it, and like the advanced techniques,
Yeah.
just things like that.
So yeah, it's really really fun. My number 3 is going to be Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. I had a tough time.
That's a tearjerker.
We played through all those games on
Yeah.
our YouTube channel. And if you haven't seen them, make sure you guys go back. You can watch. Calvin had never played them, and we
never
played
played
through
them.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then also on 5.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 for me was probably the one where I got most invested in the characters and the story and stuff like that. Like I really love Metal Gear Solid with like fighting Raven and Snow Wolf and stuff like that. Sniper Wolf. Sorry, it was in the snow.
I had the action figures.
No, Sniper Wolf and everything. Like I love those characters. They're so vivid, and I can tell from when it was made that this is an incredible game.
Yeah.
I didn't get to experience that when I was young, so
You're
I
still young,
feel
John.
bad that I didn't get that experience. But also, it was very dated. It was very difficult for me to play.
Now for 3, you must have played Subsistence with a new camera, I assume, if that's why it's
Yeah,
your
it was on
favorite.
PS3.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it includes like Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
remakes, which are great.
But that
Okay.
version had a new camera for Metal Gear Solid 3,
Yeah.
which was more traditional.
Yeah, you
behind
played
the
Twins.
back.
yeah. It was over the
You
shoulder.
can move
Yeah.
it
You
and
played Twin
everything.
Snakes.
Sure.
Yeah, so that one, as far as just like the storyline and everything like that, it didn't feel, and I don't mean this in a bad way, it didn't feel as Japanese a game. I felt like,
I thought that twist was pretty Japanese.
well, true, but as far as like not having much experience with those kind of games, I enjoyed that one a lot more. I felt like I connected into it a lot easier.
You just liked Eva.
True, guilty, but that's probably my favorite of the 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, Metal Gear Solid 4
I can
is
see
one of my
that.
favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't put it on my list. Now I
It's a
think
great game.
I love
It's a-
all of them.
I laughed, I
Fantastic
cried.
game. Yeah.
I mean, just
Very good.
riding.
series.
They're all
You're the
fantastic.
lightning in that storm.
All the games are really good, so it's really hard to like
Yeah, they all have
classify
these
different
moments.
Even
ones.
Metal Gear Acid.
I have
Card
not
game.
played that.
Hey, remember
It's a
for your
card
birthday
game.
I got you the graphic
Oh.
novel for the PSP?
Yeah. Went through that too.
I wish I kept
It's
that.
great.
I haven't played. What's the one with Raiden?
Revengeance.
Yeah.
Revengeance.
I heard that
yeah.
was just
That's
Revengeance.
fantastic.
You
Fun game.
haven't played Peace Walker.
Yeah, I haven't played
You
any of
haven't
those.
played.
I haven't played Peace Walker.
What was the
Acid
first
1 and 2.
Peace Walker.
After Acid 2, there was another handheld.
Oh,
Portable Ops. Portable Ops.
Portable
Ops.
Portable
Yeah.
Ops.
Portable Ops 2.
Yeah.
I thought we played. No, you
Peace
had
Walker.
it. You had
Peace
it.
Walker
Gear
is
Solid
really
for
good.
the Game Boy Color.
I mean, the
Yeah.
PSP was such
Peace
a
Walker,
great,
I think,
great,
really though ties into the story a lot more.
the Game Boy one is a
Isn't
canon.
it like a 2-hour
The Game Boy one?
campaign or something like
There's
that?
a
There
Game
was
Boy
one that
Advance
we
called,
played really short.
Yeah, the one you just mentioned, right? What was it called?
I think it was before the.
No, there was Metal Gear Solid for the Game Boy Color.
That one wasn't canon, yeah.
Is it not?
Promise.
It's canon to me.
Neither was Metal Gear Mobile.
Or Metal Gear Plinko or whatever.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metal Gear Solid series is very good.
Yeah.
Yep. No shit there.
Now my number 2. Some of you may disagree with me, but it's the most fun I've ever had playing a game. Is the original Halo on the original Xbox.
I'll give you that. No, yeah, like
I can't
Yeah,
disagree. It's not my top whatever.
No.
But
well, you gotta
No.
think about what it did for shooters. It pretty much popularized.
for console shooters.
Consoles,
Oh,
yeah.
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 I mean, it brought that. Yeah, because we all say GoldenEye Perfect Dark. Yes, but Halo really did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And that story is really good.
It's one of the best
Like that
stories
twist at
and
the end?
soundtracks
Oh yeah.
Soundtrack's really good.
of any first-person shooter.
Bungie's
great multiplayer.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's still fun
multiplayer.
today.
Like
Co-op?
Co-op. I honestly
Better
don't
than
know.
GoldenEye's co-op.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know how many
You
times I
remember
played
GoldenEye
through
co-op,
it.
man.
No.
GoldenEye
What?
co-op. Sorry,
ahead.
GoldenEye's co-op was that each person had their own controller,
Yeah.
and you controlled different aspects of Bond.
Yeah.
One
What?
person walked around and stuff like that. The other one aimed.
Do you play Mario Kart
Oh
Double
my
Dash?
gosh.
No, but you mean co-op wherever like one person controlled this guy, one person controlled that guy?
That sounds
One
like
where you could one control the cart, the other guy just he controlled throwing the items.
Right.
Double Dash is fun, man.
That's crazy.
oh, that would be fun though.
Yeah.
That makes
way,
sense though,
like
because
one
you have a
person
different
could
guy, you
focus on
switch.
it.
Yeah.
So whenever you switch, does that
There's
one
two
drive?
characters, yeah. You
And
can
this guy
you
throws
can-
items?
Oh, Double Dash is the shit, dude.
That's funny.
That's cool.
But
Sorry,
no, I
go
agree.
ahead.
Halo is good at twists. Like, obviously, it's still relevant today. You know, all the Halos are great, I think.
Yeah.
But the first one is your favorite.
The first one I had the most fun playing. The other games are really great. I didn't like some of the changes that they made in 2 and 3, just as far as like the gameplay mechanics, like the way the Warthog drove and stuff. It felt way more sticky than I was used to.
Changing
And
the pistol.
changing the scope on the pistol really pissed me off. Because the pistol was my primary weapon in Halo.
Wow. But didn't they bring in like dual wielding and stuff like that too?
They did.
That was
Fucking
good.
dual kneelers was the shit.
Oh,
Dual
shit,
Kneelers
man.
is OP, dude.
You probably love that, Aaron.
No.
No,
I'll tell you, in high school, like there's
SMG.
nothing like hooking 4 Xboxes together and having a party.
Yeah, fun game. I enjoyed it. I
like-
did play
I'm
a
a-
bit of LAN and stuff like that with that game.
Oh yeah.
I played 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
4 was
actually
cool.
really
4 was
enjoyed
gorgeous.
4.
It was a gorgeous game for the 360.
I've only played through it once.
I have 5 for the Xbox One because my brother bought it for me. I just don't hook it. I mean, I just don't have time to play games like I want to. But it's
Yeah.
absolutely stunning looking.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Yeah, it's weird how much Call of Duty and Halo they've merged ideas.
Well,
So I play the
I mean-
recent Call of Duty. I feel Halo. I played the most recent Halo. I feel Call of Duty.
I mean, they're both very, very powerful titles,
Yeah.
and to feed off of both fandoms, you're gonna have some interlacing on the feel of the games and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and
So
the
I get
successes
that.
of the others.
Yeah.
But yeah. Halo. I like Halo more than Call of Duty, but Call of Duty.
Yeah.
We all know that Gears of War definitely popularized the horde mode type thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
And then Call of Duty started doing zombies, and it did it fantastic. And
Yeah.
it still does fantastic.
Yeah.
Nintendo actually split the new Nintendo Splatoon 2 game is going to have their own version of it.
A new horde mode thing in it.
Horde for Splatoon 2. Yeah, you get together and guys. Yeah, I've
That
seen
sounds
video.
cool.
Sounds neat.
Yeah, and
your boys would probably love that.
I've had a little time with Splatoon, but it's definitely great.
It's a fun game.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Leon
to
loves it.
Can't wait to Splatoon 2.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can't count how many times, literally hundreds, possibly thousands of times I've played through the Halo campaign.
With the firefight,
Yeah.
it's for Halo is what it's called, right?
I didn't play any online or anything like that on Halo. Mostly it was just local network with my sisters or something like that, local multiplayer or co-op. And Rick, this probably isn't any surprise to you.
Number 1, baby.
Excelsior Lysandia.
Stanley.
I have to write that down.
No.
If it's your number 1 game, I gotta figure
It's
that out.
my number 1 game. It's a very basic game.
This is one of them DOS games.
It's a DOS game.
It's a role-playing game.
It is a fantasy role playing game.
Is it all text?
It's not a text based game.
Like Zork?
It's 2D.
It's
2D?
It's 2D top
Top-down.
down, but the characters and the landscape and everything are, what are they? ASCII symbols? Not ASCII.
Don't remember for that one.
But basically, like, the enemies move as quickly as you do. So if
Yeah.
you don't press any arrow keys, your enemies don't move.
Sure.
If you move 1 square up, they move 1 square towards you.
It's like Rogue.
Yeah,
Okay.
In that case.
in that kind of sense.
Have you seen any of the Ultimate games? The older ones?
No, I have not.
Okay. It's similar to that.
But basically, you have same basic premise as like Heretic. You have this ancient evil kind of guy taking over the world, and he's slowly leeching into like the towns and stuff like that. These evil creatures are coming out slowly, more powerfully as you gain levels and experience and stuff like that. You have inventory management where you only have so many slots. It doesn't matter what you're carrying. It's not based on weight or anything like that. Just by item names and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's more critical that you memorize how much things are worth when you're looting. Some items that you can use to make yourself more powerful or give yourself health, you know, so you carry a few of those when you first start out and you use them or drop them. It's an incredible game for how simple it is. It's very complex, very, I don't know, it's the other game probably that really got me into tabletop RPG specifically, is because it really feels like a tabletop RPG on PC. Just the top-down aspect of having to manage your movement in relation to enemies, having to manage your health and inventory, and remembering facts that people have said. You know, you can go into the town and talk
Right,
to anybody,
yeah. Yeah.
and you can start a quest.
Back in the
You
days
don't
when you
know
need
what
to have
that
a
is.
journal.
You had a journal. It didn't give
like
you
an
quest
actual-
markers or anything like that.
Oh shit.
You had to remember people's names. You had to write them down. You had to.
John in Kokrika.
Yeah.
Once to
Tell I can do
find,
that hotel desk.
once a puppy dog.
Let's play that.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
But that has a built-in notebook.
Oh yeah, it does.
And that's when you
And,
kept it like so. Like
You
you have it
needed
sitting.
one.
You have this notebook in your drawer, and I'm gonna play this.
Yeah.
Pull it out. All right, here
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah, it's great.
Where I leave off.
And there's no built-in map or anything like that.
Right.
Like as you move
gotta draw
around,
your
you
own
don't
map.
map your own thing. You
map
you
it
actually
yourself.
have to
You gotta draw it
map
on
it
paper.
yourself on paper.
Yep.
So that's another thing that really
Yeah, it's awesome.
really got me into tabletop RPG.
great.
It's a fantastic game, very well designed, I think, for the time.
If you haven't played one since and you're looking for a modern reincarnation, you should try The Legend of Grimrock 2.
Legend of Grimrock.
You
2.
would love it. Yeah.
Is that on Steam? I think I've seen it on Steam.
Yep. It's incredible, and it has a lot of things that I think you'll enjoy.
Similar to that and
Yeah,
whatnot. And
but modern.
more modern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll see you here in a second.
Yes.
It's the top 10 for
That's
Calvin.
Calvin's list. We're not done with that. We have one more to go.